Picture yourself walking into a luxury casino. Flashing lights, wealthy clients, millions moving across the tables, a place where security seems impenetrable. Armed guards at every entrance, cameras watching every corner, biometric systems tracking everything. And yet, this casino was hacked. Not by a Hollywood-style crew, not by a supercomputer. No, it all began because of a simple aquarium. Yes, you heard that right, a connected fish tank. This is the unbelievable story of one of the craziest hacks ever recorded, one that shocked the entire cybersecurity world. Stay until the end, because after hearing this, you'll never look at your smart devices the same way again. It's 2017. Casinos are among the most heavily secured establishments in the world. Why? Because they don't just store money, they also hold data, priceless data, on their VIP clients, their gambling habits, and their financial transactions. A true digital treasure. In this American casino, everything seemed under control. Sophisticated firewalls, advanced surveillance systems, physical security worthy of a fortress. It was impossible to imagine a breach. And yet in the lobby stood a unique attraction. A massive high-tech aquarium. A technological marvel that monitored water quality, adjusted the temperature, dispensed food automatically, and even alerted staff if something was wrong. All of this, of course, connected to the internet for remote access. For the casino, it was just a luxury gadget meant to impress guests. But for hackers, it was the perfect entry point. A simple decorative fish tank turned into a digital Trojan horse. Cybercriminals around the world are constantly scanning the internet, searching for weak spots. They test thousands of connected devices, cameras, printers, baby monitors, smart speakers, and sometimes they stumble on unexpected targets. That's exactly what happened here. The attackers found the casino's aquarium. A weak password, open ports, and worst of all, it was directly linked to the casino's internal network. Within minutes, they took control. From that moment, the fish tank became their secret gateway into the entire system. Quietly, they began exploring, mapping servers, probing access points. And very quickly, they found what they were looking for, the private data of the casino's wealthiest clients. Detailed profiles, financial records, gambling patterns, gigabytes of sensitive information siphoned away without a single alarm going off. All of this because of an aquarium. Imagine the fallout. These weren't ordinary clients. We're talking billionaires, celebrities, even politicians. In the wrong hands, that data could fuel blackmail schemes, fraud, or financial disasters. The theft was massive, and for days nobody understood how it had even been possible. When investigators finally traced the breach, the conclusion seemed surreal. It all started with a fish tank. A casino, the very symbol of security, humiliated by a decorative gadget. This wasn't an isolated case, it was a warning. The world of IoT, the Internet of Things, has become an enormous playground for hackers. Every device you connect to the internet can become a backdoor. Your smart thermostat, a potential entry point. Your security camera, a perfect spying tool. Your voice assistant, a microphone that someone else could activate. Just a year earlier, in 2016, the Mirai botnet had already proven how dangerous this could be. Hundreds of thousands of hacked cameras and routers were turned into a digital army. The result? One of the largest DDoS attacks in history, crippling Twitter, Netflix, Reddit, and even several major banks. The problem is always the same. People lock the front door, but they leave the window wide open. In this casino, that window was an aquarium. So what should we take away from this story? First, hackers don't always target the most protected points. They look for the weakest link. Second, most smart devices are designed for convenience, not security. And finally, once an attacker gets in, they can move around silently and undetected. For businesses, that means segmenting networks, changing default passwords, and never connecting smart gadgets directly to critical systems. And for individuals, think twice before connecting every new device. Because that toy, that fridge, or even that fish tank could be hiding a digital time bomb. The story of a casino hacked through an aquarium remains one of the wildest tales in cybersecurity. But it's only the tip of the iceberg. Because elsewhere, hackers have pulled off even crazier stunts. Imagine someone winning a brand new Porsche simply by hacking a radio contest. Or an attack capable of plunging an entire city into darkness from halfway across the world.
Imagine a brand new Porsche 911 sitting in a showroom waiting for its lucky winner. Thousands of people entered the contest, dreaming of driving away in the luxury car. But one man didn't rely on luck. He hacked the system, and nobody suspected a thing. It was the early 2000s in Germany. A radio station launched a massive contest. Answer trivia questions correctly, get your name in the pool, and you might win the Porsche. Thousands of participants called in every day, dreaming of the prize. Everything seemed fair until one listener saw an opportunity. This listener wasn't just a casual contestant, he was a hacker, and he discovered something shocking. The radio station was using a web-based database to track entries. And that database wasn't secure, a flaw that could allow anyone to manipulate the system. He studied the database carefully, figuring out how entries were logged. He didn't want to be obvious, so he automated the process. Correct answers appeared under his name hundreds of times. While ordinary listeners struggled to call in, his digital presence dominated the pool. By the time the final draw approached, he wasn't just in the pool, he practically was the pool. The day of the grand draw arrived. Hosts were excited. The audience listened intently. Everyone assumed the winner would be a lucky listener who had called in for weeks. Nobody suspected a hacker was behind the name about to be announced. He sat quietly, watching as the draw progressed. Every time the wheels spun, the tension grew, and every spin brought him closer to his goal. And then, the announcer called the winning name, and it was him. The station erupted in cheers. Cameras flashed. The Porsche 911 was officially his. To the public, he was the luckiest man alive, but behind the scenes, he knew the truth. The system had been manipulated, the odds rewritten, a flawless hack that went unnoticed, at least for a little while. Soon, suspicion arose. Other contestants noticed irregularities. How could someone barely known suddenly dominate the contest? Investigators dug into the log, and the hacker's manipulation was revealed. The Porsche was confiscated, and he faced legal charges. The prize he thought he'd won freely turned into one of the most expensive mistakes of his life. The story of the hacker who won a Porsche is more than a crazy anecdote. It's a warning. Even seemingly harmless systems can be manipulated by someone who understands them. Today, every contest, every app, every online entry is a potential playground for hackers. So hit subscribe and get ready, because in the world of cybercrime, reality always beats fiction.